All right. It's your boy Kayvon McKinnon, a.k.a. Killer TV. Today I'm just Kayvon. How about that? But welcome to the first edition of A Deeper Conversation, a Best Conversations Productions spinoff show where we talk to people that's innovative, creative, that have made real change in the community, that's doing great things. You know, Best Conversations podcast is still gonna be a thing. Don't worry. Shout out to Rello. But you know, this is my spinoff show, A Deeper Conversation, and let's get to it. All right, so with my first guest on this new show, I wanted somebody that I felt like, you know, really changed culture. Somebody from where I'm from that you know, defied the odds and did something really great. So let me introduce my guest. So my guest is a class of 2004 alumni, which they just celebrated their reunion. But shout out to the class of 2003. As a senior, he played in the Shrine Bowl. If you know anything about the Shrine Bowl, it's it's where the best of the best plays. Also, he's a UNC alumni, greatest college ever. At a Tar Heel, he was 11th in the nation with 10 and a half sacks. Also drafted by the Carolina Panthers. Also played in the Grey Cup from Wakem, North Carolina. My friend, my homie, my boy, Hilee Taylor.
What's up?
How you doing,
good, man? How you good?
How you doing, brother?
Good, man. How you?
I'm great, man. I'm great, man. How you been?
Good, man.
Great.
Good, man. Yeah.
Man.
One day at a time.
One day at a time, man. First question, man. I got to ask you. Are you living or you're surviving?
That's a good question. I would say living.
Living.
Yeah, I would say living.
Yeah.
'Cause I see living as action, right?
Yeah.
It's going.
Yeah.
Right? It's not staying stagnant.
Right.
And saying, okay, I'm gonna wait till things come to me.
Mm-hmm.
But living is you're taking that steps in action and you're moving towards something.
Gotcha.
So that's where I'm at.
Yes. Live. Don't survive. Don't survive. Live out here. Live out here. Hilee, man, when I think about, you you're one of the first people that I you know, sat in class with, and then from sitting in class to seeing you on TV, it just was like unbelievable. You know, when you think back on the days of in Wagram Park on the field with Sleepy and Coach Steele, when you think back to all those grinding and all those days, what do you think about that helped you get to that point to making it to the NFL?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. And firstly, I love what you're doing, man. Appreciate you having me, man. I'm honored to be the first guest on this segment. But yeah, man, as you were saying that, I remember us being in that wood shopping class, right?
Yeah.
You rapping and I'm beating, right?
Yep.
And, you know, of course, after we do our little thing with the wood or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I recall, man. But I would say, man, my steps is I've always been a visionary. Mm-hmm. Whatever I had in my head, you know, come hell or high water, I wanted to make that come true. Yeah. Right. And that's only attainable through the people you're around, right?
Right.
Between me being visionary, I've always been able to feel good energy too, right? So with you, you know what I'm saying? Like it's always good energy.
Good energy.
We may not talk every day. We may not see each other today. But when we see each other, it's genuinely you caring about how I'm doing. I'm caring about how you're doing.
Absolutely.
And how can we help each other? Right? And so by me being able to do that, it helped me be around a good group of people to where they see what I was going, and they respected it, right? You know, I never judged any of my friends who cuss, even though I didn't cuss, smoke, even though I ain't smoke, drinking, all of that. But it was mutual respect, man. So just having that, you tied in with the coaches and my home, and of course God, man. It was like, you know, it was just, I was gonna work. You know what I mean? All I knew was hard work and be a leader.
Absolutely. Your dad, your dad played a major part in your life, from you being an entrepreneur now to things, to even in music. What's some of those things that your dad instilled into you that you still taking to this day, every day?
Yeah, the two things my dad always told me is basically the mind is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever you can put in your mind, you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to do. You want to build your own house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You want to work on a car.
Yeah.
Like, he was big on researching, and whatever the next man can do, he can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped me, knowing that, hey,
mm-hmm.
somebody else made it to the NFL.
Yes.
I can do that too, regardless of where I'm from.
Right.
If I'm doing what I need to do,
mm-hmm.
they're going to find me. So
Yeah.
that helped. The second thing he always told me was to cover the what ifs.
Okay.
Meaning, one of the reasons why I went to Carolina, being transparent, I don't think many people know this. I originally wanted to go to Virginia Tech and was ready to verbally accept their offer.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was about to do that, it was in Blackbird, Virginia. My dad said, hey, thank you for the offer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We're going to think about it. We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
And my dad thing at the time was like Lano. That's my middle name, Delano. So he would call me Lano because his name was Hilee too.
Oh, really?
So when somebody say Lano, I already might know they know me. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he said, Lano, what happens if you break your ankle?
Yeah.
What degree you feel like you can stand on? And of course, I'm like, yeah, Virginia Tech. He's like, well, no. He said, think about Carolina. Carolina has a strong network across the nation, right? Mm-hmm. So part of the reason why I went to Carolina is because he had a strong opinion and great advice about going there now. Mm-hmm. Even though I was just looking strictly from a football perspective.
Right.
He made me see things from the bigger picture where football ain't going to last long.
Right.
What can you leverage if something happens to you? So my dad was always that. He was always a person that, he always wanted to help people.
Yeah.
Right? From lower walks of life to upper. My dad was from Washington Park. He was from the projects.
Okay.
There was the only house ever in Washington Park. Like, people that's from Washington Park, there's a space kind of near Washington Park School, and there's a space. That's where my dad and them was raised. That was the only house in the projects. And so he can fathom with people that didn't have much, but then also be in a room with CEOs and talk that talk.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So my dad, he was an innovator himself. He was a risk taker, and he was about that money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I learned a great deal from him, and the biggest thing that I take with me now is you do good business. Whatever business you do it good, right? Because you look at it like like not a transaction, but residual.
Yeah.
If I can sell you, then I know whoever you know is going to be easy to sell, because they're going to go off Kevon like, oh yeah, mess with Hilee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I conduct business, I try to treat my employees right. Whoever I'm dealing with, I try to be fair and do good, honest business, because at the end of the day, you're only as good as the people that's buying from you.
Absolutely. Back to the field. Some say your coming out party was against Chris Leak.
Yeah.
And versus the great old Independence. What do you remember about that game, and do you feel like that was your coming out party?
I would say it wasn't my coming out party. Desmond Roberts, he was somebody that I've always looked at like a big brother. Shout out to Des.
Shout out to Des.
Yeah, he was
UNC alumni as well, right?
No, he went to A&T.
A&T, okay.
Yeah, Desmond Roberts, yeah. And so he, he was like the older guy in the neighborhood that people respected. And when it came to choosing teams, whether it was baseball, basketball, or football, he was he was the second oldest, so he was a captain. And he would always choose me first, right? And so that taught me a lot, because even though I may not was the best out there, he seen something in me. So now that built my confidence to where I knew Dez was tough. So if I was going to hit, I was going to have to hit. If I'm going to make a game-winning shot or make a layup, he was going to get on to me. So he was like that coach, the first coach I ever had, outside of my household with my siblings and my parents, that really taught me what that dog was. Because he wouldn't back down.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
So by default, that's what I had in me. I wasn't going to be the rah-rah guy, but it was jumping on the ground or hitting you. and doing all that, like that's what I was gonna do, just straight business as usual.
Yeah.
And so Dez is still there to me. So coming up with sleeping with the Raiders, right?
Yep. That's when I knew you was a problem.
The problem, the Raiders, yeah.
That's when I knew you was a problem. About a year older than you, and I was probably playing for the Rams. You was probably playing for the Raiders, and I seen you running the ball, and I was like, you were just going shoom shoom, and I was like, that boy a problem.
Yeah,
that boy a problem.
Yeah, man,
that boy a problem.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like even watching y'all, man, because like the Raiders and Rams will be on the same field. So again, by you being older with the older guys, that's what we aspire to be to. So y'all set the tone. So if y'all was thumping heads, whether it was bull in the ring, laying on your back and getting up and smacking, we knew that's what we had to get to.
These kids don't know about bullying.
Man, they don't. I mean, we had sand spurs, like somebody put a piece of trash on the ground, like all of us had to run around the 2 baseball fields. So to get back to it, like I felt like that stuff was brewing and growing, but I feel like when I felt like, okay, not that I'm that guy in the most humble way, because I think a lot of people get humble mixed and screwed too. They feel like a humble person don't have confidence.
Right.
A humble person got hella confidence.
Yeah.
But they just ain't got to say it out loud.
Yeah.
So that built up when we won the Cotton Bowl against the Vikings.
Yeah.
So to put it in
Mr. Moody team.
Mr. Moody. Shout out to Mr. Moody.
Yeah. So, shout out to Raymond Moody.
So to put it in perspective, the Vikings were like the Chiefs are today.
Yeah.
They were the team to beat.
Moody kept them boys ready. Like he always had the best team. Always had the best team. Yeah.
He had them dogs. Like I'm talking about like cats that can play across the board.
Yep.
That was that team. Yeah. And so we lost soon the first year, and then in my second year, we played them. And shouts out to Wesley Johnson too. Wesley, he was a dog.
Yeah.
He was a dog, man. He was like, when I came in, he was that guy.
I was surprised that he didn't keep going. I was surprised because he was really that dude when we was younger.
Oh yeah. He was. I think Wesley wore number 20. Yeah, he reminded me of like a mini Barry Sanders. Like good. He kind of ran high, but he had some wiggle. So I learned a lot from him too. But coming in after being up in the first year, I kind of seen. You know what I'm saying? Like he was that guy. You know what I mean? And so when I came in that second year, like Wesley was more the shake and bake.
Yeah.
I was more I love contact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One cut, I'm gone, or if you're in front of me, I'm just gonna go ahead. I like that contact. Yeah. Because I play defensive end too. So fast forward, we get in the Cotton Bowl championship. And by default, Wesley had proven himself, so we got to an overtime situation. And I think the first 3 plays, Coach tried to give it to Jay, little Jay, which is Wesley Johnson. Yeah. And I looked at Coach. I said, Coach, give me the ball. I want it. It's the last chance.
Yeah.
He gave it to me, Kayvon, and ran up the gut.
Yeah.
And I wish somebody had like the film of that, but like I got contacted maybe 2 yards out, but I kept driving those feet. Yeah. And got in. Then from there, we had to get the extra point to win. Coach gave it to me again, and we won. So I still remember that night. It was surreal because people were like, like they loved it, right? You know what I'm saying? That was the first time where I felt like it was like, okay, like you really can do this. Yeah. My dad, my mom, my brother there. Y'all was there. Yeah. Because y'all game was coming up. So we would play first. Yeah. And then,
I remember this. I remember this.
Yeah, man. And we had so many people. You remember the crowd we had around the fence. Like, you had Scotland 9th grade coach there, the varsity. Like, kids don't understand. Like, Parks and Rec was like Rucker Park in a sense.
Rucker Park, yes. And if you from, we're from Scotland County, man, football is everything. Yeah. It's everything. It's everything. So fast forward, like have you got any offers by the time you're like a junior yet? Have you got any offers?
So after Chris Leak game, to go back, after the Chris Leak game, I did my thing. Answer your question going in that week. Yeah. I knew like this was my time. Like Chris, they was gonna have hella scouts there. Yep. So if I want to get noticed, this was the time. Because you got to think, we didn't have all these portals like these kids have now.
Absolutely.
We didn't have TikTok. We didn't have Instagram, Facebook.
Right.
So if you was a baller,
yeah,
your chance was if somebody on that opposing team was that guy,
yeah,
you had to do something to get them scouts' attention. And I knew that. So they had a couple of tackles, I think, had committed to like Maryland. Mm-hmm. Both of them, they were good.
Yeah.
So I did my thing, even though we lost. And Chris Leak to this day said we was the toughest defense he's ever faced. He only had 83 yards. And to put it in perspective, he was averaging 500 yards a game. Yeah. Now averaging, so that means he got a little higher than that and a little bit lower. But he only had 83 yards against us, to put it in perspective. Like, we did our thing. That was your senior year. That was probably the best high school team I've been on.
Really?
Y'all, that was our chance that year to win. Who would have got past them?
Yeah.
State champs, without a doubt. So that following week, it's in the weight room, and Coach like, I got somebody I want to talk to you on the phone. And it was Gunnar Brewer from the University of North Carolina, which was a receivers coach. Mm-hmm. And that's when the interest started. And then it went to me being in the computer class and, hey, it's Hilee Taylor, and please tell him to come to the weight room. Yeah. A letter from Wake Forest. Wow. Then it started getting letters from Clemson, Tennessee. Then it just started raking in, right? Because just like anything, once one person wants you, just in the dating game, then a lot, they start rolling in. And so at that point, man, I was getting letters from essentially everywhere.
Wow. Before I get there, what's your favorite memory of playing Richmond?
Favorite memory of playing Richmond, man. It's I got a couple. I can give you a couple. The first is we beat Richmond my sophomore year. Okay. To win the conference championship. I think we went
10-0.
Yep, 10-0. Yeah, you remember? Yep. So we had Hope County that year. They were good. Mm-hmm. And then the next one would be the junior year. Okay. We were basically up, I think, 20-7. Mm-hmm. We ended up losing, but like just seeing, because in going in that fourth quarter, like we just knew we won, and we was in Richmond County. Yeah. Their side was leaving. We was amped up, our side was leaving. Like, it was cool to see. But then, of course, they said they hit that rate of magic. Yep. Then snowballed, and then they end up coming back. But I remember Richmond, man. I remember it was always love with the players. Me and Donnell and Jamar Bryant, we got close at the Shrine Bowl. We was basically hanging around each other. So Donnell Ellerby and Jamar Bryant, like, even though we was rivals and like each other on the field, off the field, you couldn't tell us no different, man. And I think that's what Richmond and Scotland is, right? I really think we're one and the same, but we're so close together right? That when we played against each other, you're essentially playing the same team, but from different areas, right? And this is the one thing that I would put up against any high school in North Carolina, right? You got bigger cities like Charlotte where they can handpick and have players go to independent and stuff like that. Had Scotland and Richmond County combined, I don't think you would have heard of independence anymore. Like, you would have heard of them, but we would have kept that winning streak going for a while. And that's just facts, man. Like, that's where that southern part, that eastern southern, like, that's where the ball is.
It's just a great rivalry. It's just, if you never experienced it, it's just super cool. I'm watching Scotland winning in 2011 and going to that Richmond Scotland game where it's completely sold out. Like, it's standing room. Like, it's nowhere to sit. It was just, you shouldn't even, and like the cars that ride by on the highway.
Or the overpass.
On the overpass, they're beeping. Like, it's just a sight to see. Like, people probably in Texas where football is huge. They could probably understand, but man, Scotland, Friday nights, Richmond, whoever it is, it's just a crazy experience.
And my senior year, he wasn't there yet, but senior year, we supposed to play him on a Friday. But I think rain, it was like heavy rain. So we moved it to that Monday.
Really?
People across the state came to that game. Like, you would think on Monday, it was like, all right. Yeah. But that's probably the most pack I've seen. Cars was on the overpass. Yeah. people around the fence, the stands full.
Yeah.
Like it was a good environment, man. But I said all that to say exactly just like you're right. Like when we played each other, man, like people knew. Like I met somebody the other day. They were like, boy, yeah, y'all in Richmond. Matter of fact, this dude named God, you know him too. He's like a real good comedian. He's from Fayetteville though. Tim.
Yeah.
Tim. I met him at the game.
Okay.
And I knew, like, once he, I added him,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I know this dude. I've seen his video.
Yeah.
And, like, he was like, you Taylor, right? Like, yeah. And so, like, it was cool. He was like, boy, y'all remember, boy, y'all was a dog, boy. Scotland County was a problem. He said, y'all in Richmond. Mm-hmm. So it just brought it back, man, just a kind of a testament to, like, how we were down there, man.
Before we get to your college career, who would you say top 5 Scotland players of all time? In your personal opinion, top 5 players that you've seen with your eyes played at Scotland. I give you mine and you can give me yours.
Okay. I'm going first.
I go first.
Okay.
I'm gonna say you, of
Okay.
course.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Zamir White.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Richard Moody. Give me Daryl Mitchell.
Yeah.
And give me Kenny Covington.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good list, man.
Yeah.
That's a real good list, man. It's so tough for me, man.
Yeah.
Because, like, I see so many players in my head. Like, I see the Robbie Goins. I see Desmond Roberts, Jawan McBride. Jawan Monroe.
What's up, Jawan? I know we wake him. I know we wake him, Jawan. My bad. But,
you got Corey. You got Corey Williams, man. My brother, which he didn't play his last 2 years, but he got the punt block record. You know what I mean? Like Terrell, Travian, Zamir, like you said, right? All those players, man. Myself. It's tough, but I'm gonna give it to you because you know what I'm saying, and humbly, you know what I mean. I think there's no, because it's you got 4A, like when we came 4AA.
Yeah,
it's different. You know what I'm saying, and but I think I'm just gonna give you the players who I think.
Okay,
if you want to arrange them, I'm gonna say myself humbly. I got Terrell. Terrell's a dog.
And that's the guy that he was part of the
Terrell Manning. Yeah, homeboy.
Part of the homeboys played at NC State.
NC State.
Yeah. I think I'm a little older than him, so I never got to see him play.
Yeah,
but
I've heard Terrell was good. Yeah, he was a linebacker. Oh man, it's tough. You got Robbie. I can't even give you no top 5. You got Robbie. I'm just gonna give shout outs to the people that the people can choose how to do them. You got Robbie Goins, right? You got Brenton Wall. Jacoby Watkins.
Another UNC alumni.
Yeah. You got JJ.
JJ.
You remember JJ?
DB.
Yeah.
Fast.
Can hit. Yeah. Will thump you. You got what's the name? The guy who played the receiver, played at Wake Forest. Indian guy. I think he was Adam Dees. His last name Dees, but he played. He played. Was it Ricky? I think he played at Wake Forest. Tory Williams.
Tory Williams.
You got them. You got Kendrell. You got Omar.
Quante Farmer.
Yeah, you got Quante. You got Omar.
Yeah.
Bruce Freeman. Kenny Covington. Yeah. Stuart Adams.
Yeah.
Akeem Hale. Like, there's a lot of players there, man. And I'm just going to nip this in the bud. Like, there's a lot of great teams that came through there, right?
Yeah.
And, like, when it comes to college, right?
Yeah.
People things like SEC is the top conference. They have talent, right?
Yeah.
But then when we get to high school, people put emphasis on championships. And I get that.
Yeah.
But I would say, just like SEC and people say ACC are different or SEC and other conference different.
Yeah.
That 4AA was different.
Yeah.
Then 4A, 3A, it's a huge difference.
Right.
A difference of every week you're playing some dogs and somebody from D1 is on that team.
Right.
So when I think about it like that, I still think there can be better teams than a championship team that came from there. That's no disrespect.
Right.
You can't compare it because, we were playing some George Bell.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Big ass George Bell. I remember George Bell.
225, 4'3".
I remember George Bell. Hell
if he wouldn't have got hurt, he's the best running back I've seen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Shout out to George Bell. He a cool dude. I'm saying, man, like the class, we always got love. Like me and George Bell, like we talk sporadically. You know what I'm saying? It's just it was just good competition. Yeah. But I would say, you know, like people entitled to do what they want to do in terms of you know what I'm saying who's the best team in that. But I would say that 4AA is different.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to all the Scotland High alumni football guys. We love y'all. Get to UNC. Man, I mean it's my favorite school.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm a big UNC fan, man. I go to me and my wife go to about at least a couple games a year.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, big. We go to UNC, a lot of UNC basketball games. What's your first thoughts when you get to UNC, man? What's your mindset? What are you thinking?
I'm ready to play.
Ready to play. Did you see the field a lot as a freshman?
I did. I got the true freshman sack record.
Oh, wow.
Through 6 games. I missed 5 games. Okay. I still hold the true freshman record. Mm-hmm. So humbly, y'all boys, come on, it's 20 years. It ain't been broken yet. I did it in 6 games too, so they put it in perspective. But my thing, Kayvon, I didn't want to be red-shirted. And to be transparent, I thought red shirt means you don't do anything with football.
No, you practice.
I didn't know that though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just thought like, I want to play.
Yeah.
And when I got there, man, Jacoby Watkins took me under his wing.
Absolutely.
We had Jock Lewis, which his grandfather is from Laurinburg. He took me under his wing. Willie McNeil took me under his wing.
Yes.
Norton took me under his wing. Like we had a lot of Laurinburg here, man. But when I came in, I was ready to work.
Yeah.
I was ready to work. I knew, just like any new situation, you got to gain your respect somehow. And I was able to do that. But
you know, some say that you was a little undersized to play defensive end. But now in this day and age, you know, they looking for the more athletic defensive ends in guys at your size. What was your motivation when you would hear that, when people say, yeah, he's a little undersized?
Yeah, that would add fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even in Scotland, I was on the smaller end, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that I felt like helped me, right, is playing in the backyard and then doing that country work, mowing grass, picking up stuff. Yeah. So when I got in the weight room, this light. You know, when you're picking up stuff in the country, you don't know how much it weighs. Yeah. It's like, let me get up under this. Be a man, get some splinter. Yeah. Then I go in the weight room and I'm lifting like heavy. And the coach like, you know, we got a group for the people that you know what I mean, and ain't really from other schools. It's just a freshman group. And I'm kind of out lifting. They like, nah, okay, you ready? You know what I'm saying?
Where you maxed out at? What like most you ever benched?
The most I ever benched in my life was 405 for 4. 405 or 4, yeah. And bench, like I never really liked bench. You know what I mean? My thing was always squat, power clean, stuff like that. Like my lower body was always strong, man. But shout out to Coach Pravat too, like Coach Pravat. Because when we came in, I noticed the people from Scotland County, whether they were before me or after me, like the coach Jeff Connors, who was a great strength and conditioning coach in Carolina. You know, he would always compliment and say, you know, like y'all can go ahead and live. Like we already knew how to live, and all that. So he always praised Coach Pravat for that. Yeah, man. So when I came in, it was just fuel to the fire, man. I never forget when I got up to introduce myself. I was like, you know, Hilee Taylor, Scotland County defensive end. Like some cats were laughing.
Really?
Yeah. And I ain't take nothing to it. I was like, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna show y'all. That's kind of been my motto. Like I'm not gonna talk, but I'm gonna take note. That's my whole thing. I ain't gonna talk, but I'm gonna take notes. Like, okay, you laugh now. Then they gave me a number 33. I was like, that's a slap in the face. I said, you know what? Let me look. And they had a sheet of paper up there, and each locker, based on the number, would have sheets of paper, and they say this person made conference, blah blah blah. 33. Nobody had ever did anything with it. Really? It used to be a punter number. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna be the first person to get all conference with this. You know what I'm saying? And so I was able to do that, but I didn't take it personal, Kayvon. I looked at it like a great opportunity to prove myself. prove myself to myself.
Yeah.
And gain the respect of my peers.
Yeah.
And since day one, being in training camp, I was able to gain the respect of others, right? Because I felt like I had a certain amount of pressure too.
Yeah.
To uplive to by people from Scotland County being there and me being small.
Yeah.
Right? They already thinking like, okay, this ain't high school, boy. Kind of.
Right.
It ain't that you 190, you ain't gonna be able to, you know what I mean? And
right.
They put me in situations where I think they thought I was gonna fail.
Right.
But, you know, I kind of stood up, and from that point forward, man, it was just me keeping my foot on the gas, setting goals for myself, and not letting down my parents, the city, and then the scholarship donors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I took that stuff serious because scholarship donors is basically saying, here, we giving you this money in return of you representing us.
Yeah, I read somewhere where you said that you struggled a little bit with, you know, with academics and being a student athlete at the same time, and like you said, you didn't want to let down your parents, you know, the people at the university. How hard is it to be a student athlete? You know what I mean, and have to perform on the field on Saturdays.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough in the sense of where it takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
Because you're tired most of the time.
Yeah.
Your day is regimented.
Yeah.
You wake up, you got this, you got to do that, you got to do this.
Yeah.
Like your day is a full blown itinerary every day, and so as long as you got discipline and you keep going, and you look at that bigger picture. Yeah. The in between part is good, right? Even when it comes to you dealing with tutors and teachers. Yeah. If they know you care, then they care.
Then they care, right?
Now, essentially, you don't want it to be like that because they're supposed to care regardless.
Right.
But if you're literally in there trying your hardest, that can be the difference in a C- in the C. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So I knew that, and I embraced me not knowing stuff. Right. Like even now, if you tell me something I don't know, I'm like, appreciate it, bro. I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, some people, they may want to act like they know it, and they don't want to act like they know it all. I've never been that person. If I don't know, I'm going to ask questions. Even in class, I'm going to raise my hand. Yeah. Hey, did you mean this and that? If I still don't get it, as soon as the class, the bell ring, hey, like I want to come after to get it. Because I know once I get it, it's hard for me to lose it. You feel what I'm saying? Absolutely. So even though it was tough, it was just a process to get used to. Because high school didn't have that. So now I'm getting acclimated. Yeah. So by year 4, I had the back of my hand. I know how to schedule my classes to where I want to get my tough ones out the way on Tuesdays and Thursdays, do that. Have my electives Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It really taught me how to schedule things, right? And plan accordingly and study and form good habits.
What was your degree in?
Sociology.
Sociology. Okay. Nice. You said that you didn't party much while you was at UNC. Do you regret it? You know, did they win a championship in your time there?
Yeah, they did.
Basketball?
Yep, they did. 05, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was that team. Felton and them boys.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
McCants.
Yeah.
Yeah. May.
Oh, that was my favorite UNC team.
Yeah.
That's my favorite UNC team. You were bumping them guys?
Oh, yeah. I had some classes with them. Yeah, I had some classes with them.
Yeah. Do you regret not, taking it in and enjoying, parties, Franklin Street, the whole 9?
Yeah, I partied a little bit, but at the time I was in a relationship. So in the free time I had, I was trying to see that person. You feel what I'm saying? And by hindsight, I do regret, even in college and after college, right? Because I took this stuff serious, right? And
sacrifice, man.
Sacrifice, I took it serious.
If you're not gonna get to Tom Brady's greatness,
you're right. Yeah.
Without sacrifice, you know what I mean. He sacrificed his diet, hanging out, his study, whatever. It's sacrifice. If you want greatness, sacrifice comes with it. So you're not gonna get there. Partying is partying and it's cool, but sacrifice.
Nah, you're right. Nah, you're absolutely right, man. And I don't regret that part, but sometimes it's kind of letting my hair down, so to speak. Yeah. But I do know that I was aware that this is my chance to get to the NFL. Right. So if I can lock down these next 4 years, give it all I had, then the rest of life I can spend partying or do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And so that part I don't regret. But sometimes, you know what I mean, kind of just hanging out with the fellas a little more instead of, you know what I'm saying, going to see my girl at the time or whatever, like kind of staying back. Because it's a running joke. It's like, yeah, I knew when we get a little free time, your butt was going to Laurinburg or Greenville. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's what I was doing, man. But yeah, some parts I regret, but for the most part I don't.
You was 11, like I said, you was 11th, tied for 11th in the nation with 10.5 sacks. You was getting after it, man. With those type of stats, I think it was 16. You had 40 some tackles, 16 for loss.
Yeah, that's good, man.
With those type of numbers, you had to think like, hey, I'm getting drafted. I'm gonna go pretty high. You know, was that the mindset?
Oh yeah. It's I knew it was my my last year, right? And me and the seniors back was against the wall, right? Because to put in perspective our 4-year career, we had 2 different head coaches, 3 different position coaches. Now some people may look at that and like, oh, what's the biggie? It's a lot because like the Georgias and the Alabamas are successful teams. They typically have 1 position coach for their whole 4 years.
Right.
Well, you say, why does that matter?
Right.
Because that person can see that person maturing, and they can work with that person, and they running the same plays, they doing the same drills and all of that. So they know what they got to do, and they can master that. When you have 3 different coaches teaching 3 different ways, you don't have the luxury of mastering a certain way to get to the quarterback or a certain way to play the run. So we had to be agile. I learned 3 different coaches, and then my last year was the next head coach, and I had a new position coach.
What did you prefer, the 3-4 or the 4-3?
Whatever get me in front of a person.
Really?
Yeah. I like my hand in the dirt.
Okay.
I don't like being in 2-point stance. I'm saying that like I still play. You know what I play?
Yeah.
I like my hand in the dirt because I feel like I'm closer to the ball.
Yeah.
And I generate more power from there. So, yeah, when it came to that, I knew my back was against the wall. And so one of the things that helped me my last year, I said, Hilee, just relax. Just have fun. And my goal in my head was, you know what, you should be able to get 1 sack a game. If there's 4 quarters and there's 60 plays, bro, if you can ball, you can give me 1 sack a game.
1 sack a game.
And you would get about that Wake Forest game, which is about the 7 or 8 game of the year. And I had a streak of having at least, I think it's a sack a game. They even said on one of my highlights, like, that's his 8th sack. You know, you know what I mean? In my mind, I'm like, bro, if I can't get to the quarterback at least once, teams ain't gonna want me. So I just broke it down. I didn't put too much on my plate, like, oh, I got to have 4 sacks a game. No, just give me 1 sack a game.
1 sack a game.
And then that would lead to pressures. And make, as long as you're around that ball, get around the ball. So I did that. I ended up being second in the ACC with sacks. Like you said, 11th in the nation in sacks. And then I think I was 16th in the nation for like tackle for loss. And to be honest with you, like as soon as the season was over, I said, okay, I'm making time, like, because it was either you had the stats or you had the potential. I had both. So I knew, I'm in there. So I just knew I was going to get an invitation to the combine.
Was that a slap in the face when you get an invitation?
Big slap, Kayvon. And I'll tell you, just looking in your face, had I went to the combine, because one thing else you don't know is in high school when they had the Shrine Bowl combine, that's another way I got noticed by team. This is after the Chris Leak game when I ran the 4-4. Like, when it's time to, we call it nut up, like when them eyes on you, I show off. And had I made it to the combine, there's without no question, I would have been one of those stars where people would have been like, who is this guy?
Who is this guy?
And then they would have seen, oh, he had 50 tackles, 10 sacks. And now I would have been a first or second rounder, right? But yeah, it was a huge slap in my face, but I didn't take it personal. I said, cool. When they come to this pro day, they going to realize what mistake they made.
What mistake they made.
And sure enough, they came, tore it up. Tore it up. And the coach that worked me out was from the Carolina Panthers. That was the first time I ever spoke to anybody from Carolina Panthers. or the guy didn't even know me. He said, man, how many sacks? I said 10. He said, what?
Yeah.
And so that's what piqued that curiosity, because at this time, New England was the team that was like on it heavy. Every week, you coming to work me out, calling me. So Carolina was just a huge surprise. Yeah. And so, yeah, man, it was a slap in my face. But at that point, man, I had been snubbed a couple of times. You call it snub, which means like, you know, based on facts and looking at it objectively, like I should have been.
Comparing stats to other people, you know, yo, what's up?
Yeah,
you know, you know what's up. So, I mean, you on this path of all North Carolina, man. Like, I mean, essentially you get drafted by the Carolina Panthers, man. Like, I mean, what is going through your head? You done played at UNC, now you're drafted by the Carolina Panthers. I mean, granted, maybe not picked exactly where you wanted to be picked, but you get to stay home.
Yeah.
You get to stay home, man. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, man. Part of me was happy, and then the other part of me was focused on not being drafted as high, and seeing other cats getting drafted before me that I knew. Right. Stats ain't showing it, and the 40, the vertical, all that ain't showing it. So it's strictly potential. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like part of that was that, but like when I got drafted, man, it was like I was excited. Yeah, you know, my family here, and I've always been a loyal guy to Carolina. Yeah. I've always felt like we've had the talent, but some of our people would go to other states and play for other universities.
Who was your team growing up?
So my team it's two teams.
Okay.
I like Notre Dame when they had Lou Holtz.
Okay.
And then I like the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Okay. When they had Tommy Frazier at quarterback. Okay. Them the teams I remember. Other than that, I was just like players. Okay. But
so you wasn't a Cowboys fan. You know, we grew up in the Cowboys era.
Yeah, you're right. Nah, like I didn't really have a team. I like players. Of course, I didn't really watch cartoons. I watched like NFL greatest games and stuff like that. Yeah. And so they would talk about teams like the Steelers. Yeah. You know, you got the Steel Curtain. Right. You got the 85 Bears. 85 Bears. You know, when you play Madden, you go to team, you see 85 Bears. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the teams I knew. But other than that, I just like players.
Yeah. Your UNC alumni is already there. Hall of Famer. Julius Peppers is there. I remember you told me first time we talked that Julius' locker was right beside yours. Yep. Just talk about Julius Peppers and him taking you in and kind of, being a mentor.
Yeah, that moment was surreal because when you get to the College of Carolina, for like the programs or your bio, they say if you can switch day with anybody, who would that be? And that person for me was Julius Peppers. Yeah. Right? So to actually be in a locker beside him, that was surreal. And what I thought, how I thought he was going to be, he met those expectations and actually exceeded them. Very humble, laid back, willing to answer any questions. Yeah, and a student of the game. Yeah, a dog. Yeah, dude 6'8", moving like he's just a running back, like quick, strong, like he got everything. So it was a great experience to being able to like again envision that. Yeah. And that vision come true. I can't say I was surprised because, like I told you at the beginning, I've always been a visionary. So anything that I want to do, I see it over and over and I rehearse it. Yeah. So when that happened, I was like, wow, like, okay, it hit me. There was kind of moments where it hit me like, bro, you in the NFL. Right. Right. And even being outside of it now, like when I go to events like you see me post, I have a more appreciation for it now than I did when I played, right? Yeah. Because I've been around a lot of great players and a lot of great people, right, that we are cool beyond football, but we're cool because of football, if that makes sense. And so Julius Peppers is one of those players, man, where he's in the Hall of Fame, and some people don't have the luxury of playing with somebody from the Hall of Fame, much less somebody that, they looked up to. Right. And I was able to do that.
Yeah, super cool. Another player y'all share the same last name, light skinned brothers. Jason Taylor. I feel like you modeled your game after him too. You know, tall. You know what I mean, defensive end. What was your takeaways from him? And did you ever get to play against him?
Yes. Okay. Preseason. I think he was in his maybe last year or second of last year, but we played a preseason game. I remember that at this time, you know, I didn't want to be like a fan.
Yeah.
Because you kind of see that a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I had opportunity.
Yeah.
Or like just going up, you know what I mean? And saying, hey man, what's up, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't do that. But Jason Taylor, he was one of the players that when I would watch film before games. Yeah. Films of people that, you know, that I wanted to pattern my game after. And Jason Taylor was one of them. So I would just watch his highlight film of how he got sacks. And he was one of those people. But yeah, I modeled some of my game from him. Very similar game. He was a little bit taller than me, but about the same weight. But yeah, he was a heck of a player, man, and a dog out there too.
What's one thing you think every athlete need to have to complete their greatness?
That's a good question. One thing every athlete need to have to complete their greatness. They gotta have persistence. Right, because it's easy to see it, but you got to stick with it. You know what I'm saying? You got to stick with it when distractions are around you, right? And you know what I mean? You kind of whine a little bit.
Right.
You got to be able to block it out and see straight ahead, right? And have that mental toughness to say, okay, this happening now, but this is part of the plan. I got to keep going. I'm saying this is not here to derail me, but this is here to propel me. Yeah, you know what I mean. And have that positive attitude. So to have that complete greatness, you got to have that. You got to keep that vision in your head. You know, when you wake up and your hips hurt, or your shoulder hurt, right? Or it's cold and rainy outside, or you know your mom and dad going through something. You just find out that your dad got cancer, right? Or whatever it may be. You have so many things going around you, and when you don't believe in it, you think that those things are telling you to go the opposite way. Right. But it's actually there to keep pushing you forward.
One thing that you know a lot about is adversity. You know, your time with Carolina didn't probably go exactly as planned as you wanted it, but how did you deal with adversity in your darkest moments, whether it's your knee injury or getting traded and not going or whatever like that? Speak to like how did you deal with some of that adversity?
Yeah, so the time when I got waived from the Panthers in Detroit, I mean, that was probably the time when I didn't handle adversity the best I could. But that's a learning experience to me now, right? Because sometimes opportunity can be disguised in something where we're like, oh, that's scary. I don't want to do that. Yeah. And that's how I looked at that because I was fed up at that point for numerous reasons. Because I had seen how some things were being maneuvered, right? Yeah. And when that happened, mentally, it's like, you know what? But it was more of like an emotional decision. Like mentally, I wasn't in a good spot, and that taught me to vent to the right people. Do counseling. You know what I'm saying? Don't take anything personal. It's business. Don't take it personal, right? And so from that moment forward, I always handled adversity like, okay, that was just that last piece I needed, right? Because I handled it, right, but I didn't handle it the right way then. So any opportunity I come across that maybe I may deem inconvenient or whatever, you know, there's some you take, some you don't. Yeah. But if it's something where it looks scary, I'm like, nope, I got to do that. You know what I mean? And that's what's taught me, right? Yeah. Because sometimes we can be presented with opportunity that look ambiguous, and it's like, oh, I don't know, or you know what? Yeah. Nah, man, it's too much. Like, and it can be that one last striker that shovel or that goal right there.
Right.
And that taught me that was that one last striker where it was like, all right, I know it looks, you tired, right? You've been digging. But I turned around and it was that one last one. It was a pot of gold right there. It was set up. You feel what I'm saying? But instead of, getting depressed about it or upset about it, I took it as a learning experience. And when I face things now, adversity, I look at it like, this is adding, right? You got adversity. This is adding to the plan.
Like that.
You feel what I'm saying? This is a part of the plan. This is help to push us. We need to learn something from it. Because we need this to go forward. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like an ingredient.
Yeah.
Where if you don't put every last ingredient in that cake, it's gonna be off. He be like, "Mom, I don't know. This right here tastes different."
Yeah.
Did you put that vanilla extract? Maybe I forgot. You feel what I'm saying? And even though it's a half a teaspoon, it makes a whole bunch of difference, right? And that's what I look at everything that I deal with. Even tonight, how everything orchestrated, right? I was here handling some other things, and we kind of been playing phone time. But tonight is a perfect time for me and you to talk.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether, like, it aligned. Everything aligned for us to have this.
Right. It's never been a time where anybody ever heard of Hilee crashing out, or like, your name has always been good. Your name, I've never heard anybody ever say anything bad about you. And but your deepest when it does get dark for you, or you're going through things, who is that person that you tap into and talk to? You know what I mean? In your darkest moments.
Boy, my mom, man.
Really?
Yeah, my mom. She's strong. I mean, even when I was on my way back from Wofford, after the Panther just cussed me. I mean, not cussed me, but cut me. I called my mom. And, you know what I mean? Got emotional. And it was tough. But at the end of the day, outside of God, like my mom, she's like one of the strongest people I've ever been around. You feel what I'm saying? And I love her, man. Like, we may bump heads sometimes because I know she cares, right? And I'm the baby.
Right.
So sometimes, when you the baby, you don't want to be baby, right? You want to show that, oh, no, I'm not a baby no more, right? But I know she mean well. But other than that, like, when it gets tough, like, I know I can depend on my mom, man. And so that's the person. My dad was living. I reach out to him too. But, like, I would say when it was, like, me just wanting to let it all out, my mom, because I knew, I knew my dad was here, but he was like, man, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew my dad had his way of getting his way, but my mom, like, I feel like I can just, that's my mom. I can just lay my head in her and just, like, cry if I want to and vent, and it's going to stay with her.
Yeah. Had some great years in the CFL. You win the Grey Cup. You have to stint in Tampa Bay. As you're saying goodbye to football, and you're pivoting and you're transitioning into the next phase in your life, but you're still a young man at the time. What was your mindset of transitioning and pivoting into business?
Yeah. So that's a good question. So 2012, that stint with Tampa, I was with them in the off season. I got released before training camp. So at that point, I was working out in Florida with Coach Levat and waiting on a call, right? So week to week, your agent will follow like, hey, we're talking to such and such. They say they may have a spot, coming up, blah, blah, blah. It was a lot of that. And it was in November, December. So, like, pretty much the teams that they have is pretty much how it's going to be. And so I was being realist. I said, man, I don't know. This is look like this might be it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I had an opportunity to go to Canada, and I said, well, if I don't get picked up this season, I don't want to sit out no more. I'm going to go ahead and go up to Canada, prove to them that I'm healthy, because when I did report to Detroit, they felt my physical due to my knee. So I was like, I'm going to go to Canada to prove myself and then hopefully get another shot at the NFL. So in between doing that, me and my brother, my oldest brother, were talking, and I wanted to get into business because I wanted some passive income in case, you know, Canada didn't go well and I'm back or whatever. So, you know, after some failed deals, whatever, we ended up getting a laundromat in March of 2013. And that was when I decided to go to Canada as well. So, you know, that went well. I was playing ball and still making income with the laundromat and still have it to this day.
Yeah.
So
Mebane, North Carolina?
Mebane, North Carolina, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's where it's at. Me and my brother have had it going on now, 11 years?
Oh, nice.
12 years will be March. And so just man, just saying it out loud, that's wild. Because I remember us creating LLCs. I remember us meeting with business owners that had laundromats that the deal fell through for one another reason, you know what I mean, for whatever reason, and us crashing our head. But yeah, man, that's another thing I did. It ties into that cover, that what if, right? Because I was like, well, what if this is it? Like, I want to have a nice little cushion, to where if it don't work out, I got some income,
right?
And it'll kind of get me a little ahead of the game. So right before I went to Canada, that was a decision I made, and it worked out.
So, you back with another business venture. Your next play. Talk about this brand and how'd you come up with this?
Yeah, so next play mentality was a term that is heavily used in the sports realm, right?
Right.
And the reason is because typically, like for football, for instance, right?
Yeah.
You got a play clock.
Yeah.
You got 25 seconds, right? You got 25 seconds to move on to the next play, or 25 seconds, and 25 seconds to forget about your last play.
Yeah.
And so I was just driving one day, and I think this was after I lost my dad and my brother, and I was just like, it hit me like next play mentality, like you need to bridge that gap between people outside of the sports realm to that term, because anybody can relate to it.
Yeah.
Not just the sports realm.
Right.
And so I just came up with a slogan, make your next play your best play, and just wanted people to embrace transition, whether it's transitioning to good things or transitioning from bad things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, don't get too high, don't get too low. Just make whatever next step you make it your best one. Because as long as your next step is your best one, you're the best version of yourself. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? So this is what this brand is about. Yeah. It's been kind of dormant because of the trademark dispute, but it's gonna get back there this year, man. And, absolutely. I've had a lot of people reach out to me about it that's bought the shirts and know the brand that they embracing. So about positivity, man, I'm not looking at this like a business venture, like I'm looking to get rich. It's just really a lot of people are going through a lot of things, man. Yeah. A lot of transitions, whether losing their job, moving to another job, you know, not being able to have kids, right. You know, injury, disease, like it's so much, man, that life throws at us. Yeah, absolutely. And instead of complaining about what it throws at us, it's embracing what they throw at us. What you throw. And so, you know, that this is a part of the blueprint. Yeah. You know what I mean? Every structure you see has a blueprint. You know what I mean? Everything has a purpose. And so it's just looking at it, man, like everything has a purpose.
Next play mentality. Recently we seen you, I seen you back on the sideline with the Panthers. Is football over? I mean, as a fact is, and would you like to be back in the game in some aspect of life? Would you like to be somewhere back? You know, coaching, training. Would you like to, you know, get back into football?
Yeah, it's I like helping people, man. Yeah. Would I sign up for a coaching contract? Probably not. Okay. But if somebody needs help, I would help. You know what I mean? Because I believe in helping. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Each one teach one. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind it, but just where I'm at in life with, you know, my daughter, my family. Just learning to really enjoy them.
Yeah.
And football coaching.
Yeah.
Don't really give you the opportunity to enjoy them to the fullest.
Yeah.
Because you're always in the stadium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I help. I help. I like passing along what I've learned to the next generation.
When it's all said and done, Hilee, how you want to be remembered? You know, from my generation, you're one of the first to make it to the NFL, and to even to be this reachable to me, it's like even crazy. Like, oh wow, this is Hilee. But when it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy? How would you like them to remember you? The people to remember you, your daughter, your family. When your father's looking down from heaven, like, how would you like to be remembered?
Yeah, that guy was a God-fearing man, and he gave all he had, and you can trust him. You know what I mean? You know he's gonna be real with you.
Yeah,
and he's a genuine dude.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And when he said he was gonna do something, he did it. And so that's what I try to live by, man. And he inspired people along the way.
Nice. Yeah. I'm gonna get you out of here on this. Your father, your brother was musical dudes. What are you listening to now? And then also back when you played, what was that go-to song that always got you pumped?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. So what I'm listening to now, man, I got like different playlists.
Okay.
I got one called Nocturnal. That's more of the R&B, newer R&B. I got one called The Night Before. That's like the old R&B.
Yeah.
I got old school R&B. I got, the why. Yeah. The why is like my why I do this. And it's more like songs that's like telling about a person's story on like, what they doing or like how they got where they got. You know what I'm saying? Like that's more of that vibe. But right now, man, my go-to song is 100 Million by J. Cole. I'm still on the grind. Yeah.
Have you ever met J. Cole?
Nah. That's one of my. I am one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's and that's not even because like he just from Fayetteville. He could have been from Montana.
Yeah.
I just can relate to him.
Yeah.
What he raps about.
Yeah.
Right. Humble dude. And that song right there is put in perspective. Even though he got 100 million, it ain't changing.
It ain't changing.
And I think that's one of the things people can say about me. Like now, man, like, it's humble for you to say that, like, reach me, but it's just like, I'm the same Hilee, in high school.
Same dude.
I'm still figuring it out.
Same dude.
You know what I mean? And
like we talked about at the beginning, like you was the man on campus. And and here you are, we in woodshop class. You beating on the desk and me rapping like I'm like, oh man, that's Hilee, man.
Yeah, that's a test to my mom and dad, man. Like Dave, man, like people always respecting him and still do. Like I deal with a general contractor now. Shout out Mr. McClain. That the only reason why he take me up on his wing is because of what my daddy laid down.
Yeah.
My dad was one of the first black technicians from Bell South, Southern Bell, which is now AT&T. One of the first people to ever have Will Smith, Jazzy Jeff, and Lauren Bird.
Right.
Heavy D. Like, my dad was a visionary, but he never thought he was better than anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He can have somebody that say, that's battling alcoholism or drugs, right?
Right.
He would have, they would be around. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And his goal was, hey, you can wash his car, but like I ain't giving you no money to get no crack. Like whatever you like, I got you. You know what I mean? And it can be somebody from a different walk of life. Yeah. And so that's how I always seen it, man. Like if your energy good, like, I'm a rock with you. Like I go to the store, like, hey man, what's up? How you doing? Like, you feel what I'm saying? And so you have those things, but yeah, man. Like I always thought myself like I'm not no better than the next person. Sometimes I observe if the energy is kind of that's when I sit back. And it's not on no, like, I'm better than you. I'm just going to, if it's a lot of people, I'm trying to sort, like, okay, what's the energy? Just by default. Like, I'm going to sit back.
Yeah.
I'm going to be cool, calm, and collected. I'm going to talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm kind of like just seeing everything. But then my song, get back to the song that was my song back then, Jeezy Thug Motivation 101. Like, you would have thought I was in the streets. Like,
Jeezy had a song one in the Celebrate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, right?
Jeezy had a song one in Celebrate.
I know, dog.
I mean,
so standing ovation.
Yeah.
That was my thing. And then I love it.
Yeah.
Count hundreds on the table. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like 20 on the floor. Yeah. Yeah. So that was like the song before I walked, like, run through that tunnel. It's time to play.
Nice. Hilee, man, thank you. We've been planning this for a while, and I always appreciate when people are genuine and a man of their word, and we made it happen. And I just thank you, and nothing but success for you, man. And anytime you ever need me, man, I'm right here. And man, we making Scotland County look good, man.
Yeah, man.
We making Scotland County look good, and yeah, man. Anything you want to leave the people with? Any shout outs? Anything you want to leave the people with before you go?
Yeah, man. Firstly, man, I appreciate you, and it's like this is full circle, right? Like, who would have thought?
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That we be where we at now.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because what you're doing, you're trying to inspire people, leave people with nuggets. Like, you don't have to do this, but you feel like it's your calling to do this, right?
Yep.
So, more than me having an in-depth interview like this, a conversation, like, you was gonna be, you that person. Like,
you reached out to me and said, Kayvon, I want you to be the person. I mean, I was so, grateful. I was like, wow, like, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, you didn't hesitate. You're like, all right, we in time, blah, 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 man.
Let's
so
do it.
Yeah, so I appreciate you doing that, man. But, like, leave with the people, man. Just don't take nothing personal. Just know who you are, and just try to get 1% better every day. Don't try to do too much at one time. Just little by little, take it day by day, right? And know that our lives already is on the blueprint. God has already laid on the blueprint. There's nothing we can do to change. All we can do is just have faith in that, to know that our greater good is one step away, right? It's taking it one step at a time. Believing in ourselves, right? Like, I know I'm meant to do this.
Right.
And look for signs, right? Because when you ask God what you want, like, he'll give you signs. And only you know that sign, right? Because he know he made it, so he know how to turn on that engine light.
Right.
You know what I mean? He know when we need to add a little water to we need to the radiator. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's literally the maker of us. You know what I mean? So, however you do, man, keep going, man. Like, be yourself. Don't get tied up in comparison. Yeah. We all unique in our own way. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you gonna compare, do it in the right way, right? Like, you inspire me. You see what I'm saying? Like, you doing something that I'm afraid to talk to people. I don't like the spotlight. Yeah. Like, you doing that, you know what I mean? So I look at you like, okay, how does Kayvon do this? You know what I mean? He cool. So I'm gonna ask you questions. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what goes into your prep? Like, do you get nervous and stuff like that? Yeah.
Which I do.
Which
I do, man. It's almost like a game. It's almost like a big game. Like, every time, especially the interviews is like, because my boys, they're gonna hit me and be like, yo, you should ask Hilee this, you should ask him that, you should ask him that, so yeah, man, I go in there prepared and try to make the guests feel comfortable. You know what I mean? And but people like you just make what I do so much easier. And like you said, we here to inspire, man. Scotland County, man, we do it for y'all. Yeah. And not just Scotland County, but the world, but the world as well. Yeah.
Scotland County is still the city when you describe. I would say it's below Fayetteville, right? Right. People don't know much about it, but you got guys like yourself that have a podcast that's doing well, that's representing it great, right? That lets you know that our roots are like strong. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's no hate.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we got to teach generation. Like, I'm not hating on Kayvon. Kayvon's not hating on me. And that was, I feel like, a lot of our class years, like, that's how we all got along.
Yeah, I literally, not to make this crazy, but somebody from your class, 2004, I don't think you're on Facebook no more. But like, it was two of your classmates just going at it on Facebook.
Oh, I know I know.
And I was just like, what are we doing? But anyway, I always had this spiel where I was like, when I meet J. Cole, if I ever met J. Cole, I'm like, hey man, I'm from a little small town. It's like 20 minutes.
So you ready for it?
I always been ready for my spiel when I ever met J. Cole. Hey man, because we the same age. Me and J. Cole the same age, class of 03. I was like, hey J. Cole, I'm 39 too, 85, man. Like, I grew up like outside of Fayetteville, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I always had this spiel for whenever I met him, man. If anything else you want to leave the people with, you want shout outs, anything?
Yeah, that's it, man. Y'all, let's keep going, man. We all in this together. And like I said, each one teach one.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate it again, man. And even on the tip about questions like that, you know, just if we ever do a live or anything, whatever, I can help you. You know, I got you too, man. Proud of you.
Thank you, sir. All right, man. This was episode 1 of A Deeper Conversation, man. I want to thank everybody behind the scenes, my TMG family for helping out, Rello, and also we got a lot of great things coming up on the Best Conversations podcast channel. We have a new show coming with Rello, Car Talk with Rello. We have a female podcast coming, and also the flagship show, Best Conversations podcast. You know what I mean? So thank y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe, and hopefully y'all enjoyed this conversation with Hilee Taylor. Until the next time, keep God first, and I promise everything else will work itself out.
Yeah, solid.
Peace.
Yeah, good work, man.
How was that?
Good, man. Good, man. Yeah, that was smooth. How was that? It's different than being virtual like we did in COVID.
Yeah.